tiger without voice is useless. So this is me. Some years ago, many people in Indonesia call me tiger because I used to really in the front line, taking a company, confronting the company to stop deforestation in my country. So I started Greenpeace in Indonesia in 2005, really focusing in Sumatra and Kalimantan, fighting for deforestation, similar, I believe, with here in Brazil. And in 2010, basically, President of Indonesia is agreed to stopping deforestation, at least temporary, and following by many companies in Indonesia, but also globally, to agree on zero deforestation. So in 2013, at least 75% of Indonesian palm oil is become zero deforestation palm oil, global traded palm oil, and then at least 80% of Indonesian pulp and paper production is the zero deforestation too. But deforestation is still continue. If we look at this map, this is really the forest that we have. Only 36% is left in the earth, basically. The Amazon, Congo, and Indonesia. I'm flying almost 36 hours from my country, basically just to making connection with people here in Amazon, but also other speakers also here from Africa to say that, you know, we playing in the very critical role to protect forests. So in the square red, basically that is where I come from. This island is called Papua, and then some part of Maluku. This is the last remaining forest in Indonesia. The Papua island, as all other people also call New Guinea, is the largest island in the world after Greenland. And then in this island, there is indigenous community live there, almost about 500 different languages only in this island. So very biodiverse island. So if we look at this forest, it's not only empty forest. There is an indigenous community, there is a product also there, that the non-timber forest product that indigenous community can make a living. So the forest also store millions of carbon, I believe also here in Amazon. So if you look at the map, previously Indonesia, Congo Basin, and the Amazon store huge amount of carbon. If this is something is really important and really critical to stabilize our climate. But also in the forest, in my island, there is a lot of biodiversity. This we call it couscous, mammals, tree kangaroos. So if you know kangaroo, it's not only in Australia. We have kangaroo also in our island in Papua. And we have bird of paradise. So that's why people call my island in Papua is the island of paradise. But also in this forest is home of the indigenous community. Unfortunately, 15% of global poorest people is the indigenous community. But also they're in the front line to protect the forest. Science saying that indigenous community is the one who really very effective to protect the forest. Not people in the cities, not people in the US, or not people in the urban area. Indigenous community is the one who protect their forests. But also indigenous community, sometimes they don't have money for school, they don't have money for health care. So their livelihood is very, very important to making sure also not only protecting the rights or protecting the forest, but also their economy also can grow. But unfortunately, this lovely forest in Indonesia is under threat by mining company, by logging company, and also by palm oil company. Palm oil expand is everywhere, is to producing biofuel. that people call is green fuel, but basically when they produce the palm oil, that is already emission is already happening on the forest. And this is the lovely forest in Indonesia. I believe also you guys here in Belém have a lovely forest in Amazon. So it's very important for everybody, for all of us, for indigenous community. But as I'm saying earlier, this forest is under threat. I believe also happening here in the Amazon. Mining company, logging, and the palm oil company is the palm oil concession is the one basically who's threatening our forest. And basically this forest is not empty forest. There is an indigenous community, there is biodiversity, there is many things in the forest. So after my Greenpeace time, I left Greenpeace in 2016 after a lot of negotiation, a lot of very high-level campaign that I've been doing. But when I'm looking back to the ground, I see the community is still remain the same. Very poor, far from access, those kind of things. So in my previous organization, that's something we call victory. But when looking back again in the community, that basically is not victory. So I'm going back to my home island called Papua and start my own NGO in Papua and start fighting again to remove palm oil concession. So in 2022, we revoked 17 palm oil concession, 2.5 times of Los Angeles that we removed. That's equivalent to preventing CO2 emission by 160,000 times single flying jumbo jet from Rio to London. So that is equal that we preventing the emission. And we working with the indigenous community to map their territories. Because sometimes without this map, when the companies come, or maybe government come, they're saying this is empty land, nobody owns this land. So we're working with the indigenous community to map their land and get the recognition from the government. So when the company is coming and trying to bargain their land, community is saying this is our land, this is the proof our land, and this has been recognized by the government. But also, without livelihood, the rights recognition is just empty, the protection is just empty. So that's why in 2021, we start our own enterprise called Kobumi, and this is indigenous-led trading company. It's owned by 10 indigenous cooperatives, so the shareholders is indigenous community. Every year they're meeting to decide the direction of the company, and this company is tasking to leading the process to find the market for the indigenous community product. Make it very simple. With the right cooperatives, currently 10, with the right product that we choose, and right support also, with the infrastructure, paying the product directly with the indigenous community and transporting the indigenous community product to our warehouse, and also doing processing to maintain the quality of the product and find a good market. This is something that is very, very important for the indigenous community product, because sometimes market saying, working with indigenous community, the continuity is always the big question. So with the Kobumi, basically, we're making sure there is a consistently and then good quality going to the market. So indigenous community can sell everything that they have to making money. So with those all support, we believe that in Papua and Maluku, we have 19,000 islands that we serve, that the right support, this supply chains basically can be done, indigenous community product supply chains. So today we have $2 million trading of the indigenous community product, and all the profit goes to the indigenous community development again. And next year we aim to have $4 million. So you can imagine this money back again to the community. So indigenous community, not only begging for money from the government or donors or philanthropy. They have their own money to protect their forests, to protect their rights. So back again here, if the indigenous community can make a living from their forests, I believe at least, and you also should believe, that they will protect their rights, they will protect their forests for our future generation. So here we are to defend the paradise, and this year is the COP30 in Belém, so that's why also I'm here to put our effort together, Indonesia, Congo, and Amazon to work together to defend paradise. Thank you very much.